We are a brand new muscle car, and we build RestoMods. We're talking cars that look like a classic, that drive like a brand new car. Mustangs are our specialty, and we're setting out to build the ultimate 67 Fastback. Before we build anything, we sit down with the customer and do a design meeting. Go through the options, what's possible, what do they want, what's normal, what's required. We'll go through colors, fabrics, materials, the entire deal. JB, thanks for making the time.
Sure.
Wanted to have you in with the team, sit down, talk about the project. We just thought we'd do a straight Mustang.
And this color is good because that color is red, especially this candy apple. It's the most popular color out there right now, so everybody wants it. I think it'll look great on a 67, 68. What we try to do is we just try to go the extra mile in order to give the customer what they want and then treat it like it's our own.
And then on drivetrain, you wanted a little extra power.
Right.
Supercharged, 750 horse, which is in the range you were talking about.
Yeah.
Of course, you know, twin turbo, 1,000 horsepower, but
Probably a little more than I need, yeah.
that's a lot in a 67.
around the roads anyway.
Yeah. The interior, you know, there's 67, 68, real similar, but the difference is the wood grain. What do you think of the wood grain?
I don't know. I'm gonna have to think about the wood grain.
Okay.
Both of them are cool. I mean, I kind of like the wood grain only because it is a 67 and it's an older, you know.
Right.
But this also looks really clean too.
Yeah. And then on the trunk, you know, you've got sort of the classic Mustang, you know, with a Mustang, the gas tank's exposed, you know, so there's no floor. We typically, right, Richard? Richard's already going to say this on the Supercharged, the battery's going to be in the trunk. Sure. Of course, we could finish it out and carpet it.
Yeah.
And then, of course, there's the over-the-top crazy subwoofer lights.
Probably not going that direction.
Okay. You don't seem like that guy. Okay.
No, probably not going that
So
direction.
it's something to think about, like old school with some carpet.
Yeah.
Battery's still back there, but it's in a nice aluminum box.
Right.
And I think that goes, I don't know, to me that goes well with the black and black, so that's kind of nice.
Yeah.
I always tell people it's an interior you can drive every day. A lot of classic cars, that's not true.
They're a great group of guys, very talented, very knowledgeable. I've talked to each one of them separately at different times, and I'm always just amazed at the knowledge and expertise that they have.
You know, they have different companies where you can do electric windows, but it looks like a door handle. You know, we can do different things like that to keep the original look, but kind of bring some modernness
Knowledge into it.
Yeah.
And that's one thing we hadn't talked about yet was like small customizations. Yes, stay with the classic look, but you know, we've got a couple of great airbrush pinstripe guys, maybe a little pinstripe.
I think people like RestoMods because they can have the modern day drivability in an older looking car. It brings the best of both worlds, in my opinion.
Obviously, with Supercharged and the 6-speed, we're gonna mini tub the car. We can't have little tires on the back of a car like this.
You'll need big tires.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, we don't want this thing skating around at 60 miles an hour. We've done that car before, and it came back.
It's dangerous.
It's dangerous.
Yeah, some people you just can't talk into a wide tire until they drive something that makes this kind of power, and it will make you a believer.
So one thing that we've kind of been talking about is, do you want to go with the original door handle or do you want to go with like a flush mount? We're coming up with our own, you know, smooth door handle, so it should be pretty slick on the side of the car. So that's one of the greatest things about RestoMods is we can make all that stuff work together and function like a 2016. So going out there and firing it up every time, driving it down the road, you know, the usability of it is very nice for us.
Between the supercharger and the plumbing and the 6-speed, we're gonna have to do some floor tunnel work anyway to make the 6-speed fit. That's what I'm shooting for. I would love to run a flat hood on this car.
So Mr. Jarbo is definitely a car guy. I mean, he's got a 66 Chevelle, 396 4-speed convertible car. He's got a super performance car, all aluminum 427 side oiler, Tremec 5-speed car. His son has a 301 turbo 4-speed Trans Am. I mean, he's a legit car guy.
But yeah, I think the biggest thing on the outside is just start looking at wheels.
Yeah.
We want to go real old school, then we can go with wagon wheels.
Right.
Okay. That would definitely make it different, wouldn't it?
Yes, it would.
Well, I got some homework to do.
Yeah, start looking at wheels, do a little thinking, and then we'll get started.
So this is going to be fun. This is exciting.
And of course, we can keep you informed, and we have the app.
Oh yeah, Ion Classic. There's a new smartphone app where all of us can take pictures on our smartphones, update you. You can look at it. You can share the link with your friends. Wow. They can follow the bill all the way through.
So I'd like to know this meeting. Where's my donuts?
Yeah.
I didn't get the memo.
Brand new muscle car Mustang RestoMod, presented by Classic Industries and brought to you by Ion Classic, the best way to document your restorations. Better battery bolt. You are nuts not to try these bolts. And American Muscle, the aftermarket muscle car experts.
Once we get the body shell, we've got to send it to the body shop. There's a lot of stuff online about this. They've been around for 15 years, and you'll hear a lot of things about it, oh, they're this, they're that. I can tell you right now, they're good, right? Are they perfect? No. They still got to go to the body shop. You still got to have a professional line up the sheet metal, gap it, do all the body work. There might be dents and dings, but is it 50 years old? Does it have rust? Does it have fatigue? No. It's brand new, it's corrosion protected, and yes, they work well. To get them the way we want them, like a new car, the fit and finish of a brand new car, we've got to spend several weeks, if not a month, in the body shop, cleaning them up, lining up the sheet metal, fixing any potential dents and dings that happen along the way. It's not a huge deal, but it's important to make the perfect car. We're very lucky because we've got guys that enjoy the prep part of the paint, meaning the pre-work before you actually pull the trigger, where guys like Jared, who is a great prepper and loves doing it, really enjoy making the car perfect. Panel by panel, gap by gap, edge by edge, every little detail, and it takes weeks. And he loves doing it, and we love having him do it.
If it has a seam anywhere, we seam seal it. Whether it probably needs it or not, guess what? We seam seal it. The purpose behind that is being, you don't want any water getting in anywhere. We want these cars to last forever. This is not a 5-year, hey, I got a cool car thing. This is a car that you give your grandchild. This is a car that's built to last for a very, very long time by taking those very minute little details from the very beginning. Now you're brushing it on, and that definitely helps with getting it in all the cracks, make sure everything is sealed nice and tight. Today's cars have a real nice bead of seam sealer. Everything's got real good lines on it. But in the 60s, they didn't do that. They did everything by hand. So that's why we do this one by hand, and we try to emulate like the cars were back in the 60s. And so to do that, we try to do everything that they would have done back then and bring that to today's time. And make sure that everything is covered. There's not a crack left, there's not a seam left. Everything is completely covered.
I put in a lot of time and effort and a lot of detail into seam sealing, and I undercoat cars. I do the stuff that nobody sees. Well, the 442, we got the body off the frame, and then I did my whole thing that I went underneath, prepped the entire bottom, and I seam sealed every single seam. That's all the old seam sealer, all the nasty rust, anything just that has been weathered underneath the car for so long. I prep it all down and make it look like it came off the factory shelf. The customer came in after I got done doing all the inside and doing the bottom and getting the body back on the frame. He came in with his son and his daughter, and he was just like, asked me a bunch of questions. He was just like, that looks 10 times better. And when he told me that it looks 10 times better and good job, and he gave me a thumbs up, it just lights a little spark in my chest. It just makes me feel good.
Chassis and suspension are the foundation of any car, especially a powerful muscle car. And when it comes to chassis and suspension, we've tried them all. And we've found over the years, Chris Allison's Chassis Works is the best. They make a great product, they're great people, the service is fantastic, they're just hard to beat. They have a wide range of products, vehicle-specific products for Camaro, Mustang, Chevelle, you name it, they do it. And they do everything from street to strip to pro touring, pro street, scalable wheelbase and track width. You can order a complete chassis, you can order a front clip, a rear clip, subframe assembly. In fact, we have a good example here of their full chassis product. Usually don't see this on a Mustang. This is very special. So we've removed the floor pan. We've got Chris Allison's full frame. We've got his full floor setup. Very, very cool. Now this has more of a race car feel than his normal stuff. So this is a stiff ride, a race car ride, more like a brand new Vet. This thing is amazing. It'll sit low. You can put giant wheels and tires on it. It really is incredible. Now obviously this particular vehicle is going to be an electric car. That's not what we're doing on Mr. Jarbo's car. Mr. Jarbo's car is a gas-powered car, supercharged, 6-speed, more than normal thing. This is more of a prototype for a future project. Now on the Jarbo's car, what we're doing is we're doing an independent front suspension, a 4-link rear, 9-inch, four-wheel disc brakes, good shocks, good tires and wheels, a lot more of your normal RestoMod street driver. What I love about Chris Allison's is they are unapologetically high quality. Not cheap, but the best. And that's always been their motto, that's always been their take. They make the best stuff possible. We love it, we've used it for years. It just simply can't be beat.
It's a 1970 Mustang, grabber blue with a grabber package. I found this car in Atlanta and drove to Atlanta to look at it, and that guy showed me this grabber blue car. It's the color just pops, I think. That's what I like about it. Relatively stock interior. Motor's been worked on some. I've had the car about 4 years. It was 90% complete. I've done a lot. I added the twist lock, hood pins, I added the louvers, added the shaker hood, items like that. This makes it a little bit nicer car. It wasn't an original car when I got it, so I just want to continue to add to it, make it a little bit better. I'm probably going to do some suspension work on the car. I still drive it quite a bit and like to get it driving a little better. It's just always a build. You're always building on your car, trying to make it a little prettier. I do all the work myself. The car was painted when I bought it. I just finished it. It's a 351 Cleveland with a 3-speed automatic. It's got aluminum intake and some chrome added, but nothing real major. The Ford and the Mustang people, they kind of want to gravitate together. Ford people like other Ford people, and Mustang guys like to hang out with other Mustang guys, so it don't matter what kind of show you really go to. I've always liked the 70. It's always a big debate between Mustang guys, 69 or 70, but I always felt like the 70 was a prettier car. I think 69 was the prettiest Mustang ever built for one whole year. If you're a Ford guy, you're going to want a Ford Mustang.
Richard, as we call him, Dr. Richard. You'll see him a lot in this show. He's very good at explaining things. We always say if you ask Richard what time it is, he'll tell you how to build a watch.
I mean, he can tell you how something's built and when it was built.
And he'll explain it to you. He'll give you the ins and outs of it, and everything that he does is top-notch in our motor department.
Today we're looking at this 1965 Mustang convertible. This car is mostly stock. Originally it had drum brakes. This car has an aftermarket kit on it that very much resembles the disc brakes that were available on this car new. 4-piston with brake rotor. This car still has the original style suspension on it, stamped steel upper control arm, coil spring, and the shock rides in the middle of the coil. Now that we have seen what a stock style suspension looks like, we're going to move to one of the more popular aftermarket systems. On the stock style car, you saw the upper and lower control arms were all made out of stamped steel. These are made out of DOM tubing, bolt-in, rebuildable ball joints, much larger reinforcement plate that holds it into the body of the car. We now have Heim joints here versus 2 cam bolts. This makes them much more adjustable and much more finely adjustable. The stock style suspension cars have a very rough adjustment. These, you can actually adjust them thread by thread by thread. The other advantage to using a Heim joint style suspension is obviously you can see how easy this stuff moves up and down. It floats very, very freely, and that gives the suspension a quicker reaction time. It moves up and down easier. There's no deflection. It doesn't move back and forth like on a stock style suspension car with rubber bushings. None of this stuff is moving other than in the direction that it needs to be working. It stays in a linear plane. So what we're going to do is we're going to assemble this. It's pretty easy to do. This starts off with a lower control arm, upper control arm that are already on, strut rod. Where we kind of deviate from stock is in the upper mount here on a stock style suspension car. There's a big bracket here with a coil spring that is separate from the actual shock. But we have this plate that bolts into the top of the car that eliminates the actual shock passing through the fender apron into the engine compartment. All that will be in here now.
And maybe more than anything, the Falcon is the car that paved the path for the Ford Mustang.
Brand new muscle car Mustang RestoMod, presented by Classic Industries, brought to you by Classic Industries, your one-stop shop for all restoration and performance parts and accessories. Dirty Deeds Industries, performance without drone. And by Clamp Tight. Clamp anything, any size, any shape, anywhere.
I'm Matt Anderson, Curator of Transportation here at the Henry Ford. One of the most popular cars in our collection is a 1965 Ford Mustang, serial number 1. So the first Mustang assigned a vehicle identification number. And that car, of course, is really where it all began for Mustang, a brand that is still very active today, 60 years later, and a car that was unlike anything else at the time it was introduced. It was sporty. It was also economical in terms of its price. It was customizable. You could buy any number of accessories for it. And it really was the first car targeted at the baby boom generation who were just starting to get into their teens and kind of come of age in that period in the mid-1960s. So it represents a sea change in automotive design and marketing. There were a couple of trends that influenced the Mustang very much when it was introduced in 1964. One was that cars still tended to be in kind of a one-size-fits-all category, right? You could get, the entry-level series, the mid-level, or the top-of-the-line car, but they were still the same basic car, just had more bells and whistles, more chrome, more trim, the higher up the price line you went. It started to change in the late 50s, certainly in 1960, with the introduction of compact cars from each of the big three. Ford introduced the Falcon in 1960. And maybe more than anything, the Falcon is the car that paved the path for the Ford Mustang. The big breakthrough in designing the Mustang, there was concern about the cost. It would be something like $400 million to design a completely new car from the ground up. Not only do you have to come up with the design, you have to come up with all the new manufacturing tooling, etc., to build this completely new car. But it was Hal Sperlich who came up with the idea of, what if we just put a different body on the Falcon? The Falcon was roughly the size and proportion they were looking for this sporty new car. And then you can reuse the engine, you can reuse the chassis, you can reuse a lot of the parts. You look in those first Mustangs, the dashboard, the controls are identical to what you would have found at a Ford Falcon at the same time. So that was the real breakthrough that allowed the Mustang to be the success that it was.
This was state-of-the-art in 1965. Things have really changed in the last 55 years, and we'll show you what the new state-of-the-art looks like. All right, this is what we're going to replace that with. This is what's called a coilover shock. Instead of having a separate coil spring and a separate shock, this is all one unit. This shock here from Verishock has an adjustment here at the bottom. I've already greased the threads. This is very important. You don't want to put this together with no lube. So we're going to start hanging this stuff on the car now. I usually put the bottom in first, and with any suspension component, you always want to use grade 8 bolts like we're doing here. Another great tip, nylock nuts. These things are great. You don't have to over torque anything. They don't come loose on their own. You screw that on just like that, and then we'll torque it down. Always start your hardware by hand. That way you don't cross thread it. Then you're going to the store to get another bolt. Save yourself some time and heartache. All right, next thing we're gonna put on, spindle. First we started on the lower ball joint, then the upper. These are castle nuts. If you've ever played chess, you'll know what the chess piece looks like. It looks like a castle. It has all these slots in here, and I'll show you why once we put it on the car. Most lower ball joints take a ball joint spacer and a washer, grade 8 of course. Your castle nut, start those on by hand. Start the bottom, start the top. When you tighten these castle nuts, always have that hole aligned where you can get to it easy enough to put your cotter pin in. Now we're going to bend this over to where it can't come out. It's time to do the upper now. Do the same thing. We'll tighten this down until our hole lines up in the ball joint, and we'll put our cotter pin in. The next thing we'll put on will be the brake caliper adapter bracket, the rotor, the caliper, and then the pad.
Oh, look at that.
Right on. So when we start to adjust these, yeah, I like that donut. Can I have a bite?
Yeah.
Thank you.